everyone, Jason here with what was supposed to be an assembly and review video of the Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure Metal Earth model available from the Universal Orlando Resort. However, as you can see in front of me here, I already have a completed model. As I was filming the video, I was able to successfully capture the first 8 hours of construction. However, the last 45 minutes, which included some very crucial steps, for some reason the video got corrupted and didn't save. And I can't very well go back and reassemble it. And so rather than subjecting everyone to a 4.5 hour edited video showing the entire assembly process, I figured I would just do a review of this model. So first of all, this model is available from Universal Studios Orlando, either in the park or by phone. It's not currently available on their website. However, I was able to call in and order this and have it shipped to me. It retails for $30 if you have it shipped. Shipping to me was $7. I believe that's probably pretty standard for them. So $37 shipped, $30 if you purchase it at the park. If you're not familiar with Metal Earth models, they're models with several little pieces that have to hook together. And in fact, I actually have a sheet of pieces here. So you can see this is kind of what the sheets look like. Several little pieces that have to be cut out, bent, molded, and then attached. And if you look at some of these pieces, you'll notice a lot of them have little slots in them. A lot of them have little tabs in them. And so based on the instructions, you have to match those tabs up with the slots and either twist them and bend them over or bend them over 90 degrees. So this particular model is about 130 pieces. So there's quite a few pieces. And a lot of them are very, very small. Some of them are only 3 or 4 millimeters wide, so very difficult to work with. Using things like tweezers and pliers and stuff sometimes doesn't make it easy. But when you start with one of these kits, you have the instructions that look like this. So the first page of instructions actually has each of the sheets mapped out. And so this is the D sheet here. And so you can kind of put it there and match up the pieces. And so when you get to each step, it'll say use D98. And so you'll know D98 is right there. You'll be able to cut that piece out. And when you're assembling one of these kits, unlike the nano coasters, you're not going to want to cut out everything all at once and then try to go from there. You'll never be able to manage the project. You want to cut out the pieces as you go and then mold them together. You also want to be very careful. The reason I actually have a second sheet here is during assembly, one of the pieces that I had that was one of the lap bars, it was the lap bar for the motorbike. As I was bending it and molding it, it broke into 5 pieces. Fortunately for me, Fascination support is really good. I was able to come on here and circle the piece that broke, sent them a photo of the instructions, and they sent me a new sheet to replace that. But once again, this is kind of what the instructions look like. As you can see, they're sometimes kind of hard to follow. That's kind of one of the frustrations I have with these Metal Earth kits. Ultimately, you can look at the kit, and I feel like it turned out very nice. And I'll kind of do a little 3D revolution video here to kind of show it off. I feel like the end result is really nice, but it did take about 9 hours of construction to get to this point, which is very different than what you'd expect from something like a nano coaster, where you can put that together in 15 to 40 minutes, depending on how complex it is. A model like this takes a lot more patience, a lot more time, and the end result may be worth it. So this was my 14th Metal Earth model. Most of them are lined up behind me. You can kind of see them there. And this was by far the most difficult one that I've done. Metal Earth models are very common at the Universal and Disney parks. This is only the second coaster related one ever released. Disney World used to have a Space Mountain one, which is back there, which was just the building. So this is the first coaster vehicle. And it's interesting to me that this came out about the same time as the coaster cutout for VelociCoaster, which this is probably a way to show a lot more details than a coaster cutout would. But also knowing that it's going to take a lot more effort to assemble it. And if you look at really closely, you can ultimately find some of the flaws and stuff in it, because you're not going to get it perfect. Like I said, some of these pieces are 3 or 4 millimeters. When you're looking at the product, it says on the back, no glue or solder needed, which is technically true. You actually can't solder this metal. There's some kind of coating on there. If you try to solder it, it won't work. However, at certain times, glue I found does become almost necessary. And even if you look at several of the Metal Earth groups on Facebook and Reddit, people recommend using glue to attach pieces that may not attach extremely well. One of the other things that's semi-frustrating sometimes is if you follow the directions exactly, occasionally it has you put on a piece really too early, or have you close something up too early, and then it has you attach another thing later, and it says, okay, now you got to reach in this little 1/8 of an inch wide gap and reach in there and twist a tab, which isn't hard. So oftentimes I like to look ahead 3 or 4 steps and make sure that I'm going to be able to do everything. For instance, on the base plate, the edge of the base plate there is bent down 90 degrees on every side, but there's several tabs underneath that stick down and you have to twist, and some of them are right up against that edge. So if you were to bend those down first like it tells you to, and then try to insert the tabs and bend them, you really can't get any tools in there to bend it. So in that case, it was better to first insert the tabs from the top, bend them or twist them, and then fold down the sides 90 degrees. And so things like that. There's also a few other pieces that, just looking at the instructions, it wasn't extremely clear which way a piece needed to be installed. And it looked, it's a piece that looks the same from both sides, very close, with just a minor difference. And then you get 4 or 5 steps later and you realize you put something on backwards. So things like that were ultimately frustrations. But at the end of the day, it is a really cool model for one of my favorite coasters in Florida. Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure is a lot of fun. A lot of these Metal Earth models, especially the Harry Potter ones, are just generic. We have Hagrid's hut, they have the Gringotts Bank. And when I first saw this one, I thought at first, it was just Hagrid's motorbike. But then you look closer and you notice that it does have like the lap restraints, and it has the little shin guards down inside that are on the actual coaster. So this is the actual coaster vehicle. One of the other things that's semi-frustrating is there were a few pieces inside that were down inside the structure, 3mm pieces. I actually spent 45 minutes trying to shape them and attach them properly. And then I ended up looking ahead in the instructions and realizing another piece was just going to cover them up and you wouldn't be able to see them anyways. And so I actually gave up on those 3 pieces and didn't even install them on the model, because at the end of the day, they're not going to be seen, and they're really there for just the builder. And I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from purchasing this model. Once again, I do really like the way they look. I'm going to proudly display this back on my shelf behind me. Just know that if you're used to coaster cutouts or nano coasters, and putting together a model in 20 or 30 minutes, this may look pretty easy just looking at the package. But once you get it and you realize that there's 130 very small pieces that each have to be carefully cut out and molded and shaped, these models can take a lot longer. The Hollywood Tower of Terror took me about 3 or 4 hours. I have another video on my channel where I did one of the garbage cans from Disneyland. That one was actually much quicker. I think that one only took about 30 minutes, if I remember right. So they do vary. This is the most difficult one I've done, more difficult than the Space Mountain or the Disney World sign or Hagrid's hut or the DeLorean behind me. This was the most difficult one, but the result speaks for itself. It's a very nice looking model. And so like I said, I don't want to dissuade anyone, but I do also want to be honest with people that, these kits are not extremely easy to put together. They do take a lot of work. So if you want to invest in it, definitely do that. But also know that putting this together is going to take a lot of time. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about assembling the model, need any tips, let me know, reach out, and I'll see what I can do to help you. Like I said, I do have about 8 hours of assembly, which didn't involve any of the base plate, attaching the bike or the lap bar, anything like that, but I lost the last 45 minutes. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit subscribe. But once again, thanks for watching and have a great day.